Morning, and thank you for joining us. The Los Angeles Latino Chamber of Commerce has partnered with Southern California Edison and Wildan to bring you valuable resources and training opportunities. I'm Olivia Rios, Director in Operations and Programs at the LA Latino Chamber, and I'm excited to have our first 2026 webinar with Southern California Edison. Today's topic is Customer Savings and Program, where you'll discover how small businesses can save on energy costs using SCE's rate plan comparison tool, understanding the use of time rates, and unlock energy efficiency incentives. This webinar would guide you through SCE option rates, TOU plans, and seasonal incentives, plus how the CEDA program works to support energy efficiency upgrades that demand cost and carbon emissions. Learn how the best rate is paired with efficiency, where you can lower your bills, conserve power, and support a more sustainable future. Own your power to take control of your business and energy cost. But before we start, I'd like to introduce you to today's subject matter experts. We have with us our moderator, Ruby Rose Yepes, a senior advisor at SCE with 15 years and more in the building science and sustainability. She supports builder, developers, and national customers on high performance, low carbon new construction. She is a Cal Poly Pomona architect alumni and alumni of their board, and she also completed her MBA. Ruby is a lead AP certified energy analyst and green rater who has certified over 30 plus affordable housing projects as lead or green point rated. Not only is she with Southern California Edison, but she's also on our corporate advisory board member. Next, we have Scott Balcom, a senior account manager specialist at SCE. His role is to support commercial and industrial customers with CIA major accounts and mid-market segments. He serves as a primary point of contact for a module of commercial customers, providing strategic guidance on electrical service, rate considerations, and participation in SCE programs. Next, we have Tina Hendricks, affiliate members of the American Institute of Architects, Los Angeles, and is a program outreach manager at Wildan. She implements the statewide new construction program known as CEDA, which is the California Energy Design Assistance Program. And lastly, we have Robert Passo. He is an outreach specialist at Wildan and works statewide new construction program in conjunction with Tina. So welcome everyone. You know, as I was reading the bios before the program, you're really in for a treat for your learning from subject matter experts. So I'm happy to be here with you all, and thank you for taking the time to be with us this morning and learning on how to lower your rates. At this point, I'd like to turn it over to Ruby Rose. Welcome. Welcome, Ruby.
Thank you, Olivia. Good morning, everyone. Happy Tuesday. I hope you all enjoyed your weekend and celebrating Easter if you celebrate it with your loved ones. Thank you for joining us this morning. We do have a great panel of SMEs in the space of efficiency and savings on your electric bill, and we've got some really great information to share with you all that hopefully you can utilize and apply to your business to help reduce and keep those electric bills low. So as Olivia mentioned, I am a senior advisor with our account management team. I do help builders and developers, but also have a number of key and national accounts, customers that I do help in our customer database. I'll say we have quite a few of them. And so we're going to share some information alongside my peer, Scott Belcom, who's also part of our account management team, on ways that you can look at your rates, make sure that you're utilizing the best rate. How are you using your power usage, and times of usage is very, very important to keep bills low. And then also just using tools and programs that you could potentially get some credits on your bill. So with that, we'll go ahead and get started. So I'm going to start diving into our rates program, or our rates overall. We do have what's called our time of use rates, which most of our customers now are under or have been switched over to. Over the last few years, we've been switching over all of our customers. And as a small business or to medium business customer, you would fall under our general service rates. And there are three different tiers of this. So typically there's the TOU GS1, which is for small businesses. TOU GS2 is for small to medium businesses. And then TOU GS3 is for medium businesses. Also, I don't think we have anybody here that is in this space, but if you were to be an agriculture customer or a large industrial customer, we do have additional rates that would be applicable to those types of businesses as well. So I did cover the different types of general service TOU rates, but these is kind of like the bracket of usage that you would fall into. So as I mentioned, TOU GS1 is under the smaller businesses who use 20 kilowatts or less. We also have the rates of TOU EV7, which is if you have EV charging at your business. And this would be a meter that's specifically dedicated only to EV charging. If you are utilizing less than 20 kilowatts, then you would fall under that TOU EV7. And then the PA that you see there, the TOU PA stands for pump and agriculture. So those, again, are going to be applicable to customers that are in that agricultural space. Now, if you're a small to medium business customer, we have the TOU GS2, which will fall for customers that utilize more than 20 kW, but use less than 200 kW. And if you are a larger business and you use more than 200 kW, but less than 500, then you're looking at your TOU GS3. And then if you are a larger customer using a lot more of a load, over 500 kW, then you are looking at a TOU 8. So you're no longer in the general service tier of the TOUs. You are now in the TOU 8 bracket. And I did just want to make mention, if you do have any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat and we'll come back to answer those after we're done presenting. So a little bit more information with regards to these three small to medium business general service rates. So as I mentioned, TOU GS1, you're using 20 kilowatts or less. These are designed for small businesses. This includes 2 to 4 main charges depending on the rate option. So that's your monthly customer charge, your TOU energy charges, facilities related demand, and time related demand. So when you're looking at your bill, you're going to see these 3 or to 4 different charges that will accumulate to be the total of your bill itself. If you're TOU GS2, again, you're utilizing between 20 kW to 200 kW. And this also includes your monthly charge, your TOU energy charges, and your facility rated demand and time related demand. Now, when you bump up to the TOU GS3, which is 200 kW to 500 kW, this is obviously for a much larger commercial type business. And you are utilizing, unfortunately, you do see some high demand charges on your bill. And if you are using over that 500 kW, that is when you are transitioning to the TOU 8. One of the important things with regards to time of use rates is that exactly what it's called, time of use, is that the cost of electricity varies on the time that you are utilizing it. So many years ago, before TOU was adopted, the peak rate time was during the day. But as solar has been adopted and applied both in the residential and the commercial sector, as well as solar farms, there is now a surplus of energy that happens during the day. And so peak rates are now in the evening time. And depending on the rate that you have, you can either be from 4 to 8 or from 5 to 9. And so it's very important to be conscious of that, because if you're utilizing most of your power in the evening time, then that's why you're seeing a higher bill. If you're utilizing most of the power during the day, then your rates are going to be, and your bill is going to be cheaper. We also have some few options that could be applied to the GS rates. So if you want to go with option D, this is for higher time related and facilities related demand charges. This will give you a lower energy charge per kW, and often it will help our customers that can control or flatten their demand, meaning that you will have a consistent usage, typically as you guys are operating during the day or during your business hours. We also have option E. This is also to lower time-related and facility-related demand charges. You will have, though, higher energy charges per kWh. So it's kind of a flop of what option D was. So option D was higher time-related with lower energy charges. Option E is lower time-related with higher energy charges. And then also, this is more for customers who their load may vary. So the usage can have different times of spike and different times of low usage. So for those who can't create or don't have more of a controlled usage, then the option E would be a better bet for you. Now, when we're talking about time of use, there are other options, and I'll get into this with regards to demand response programs, but also understanding when to be utilizing your demand if you can control it. So, as a business, maintaining, as you can see, the 3 different tiers that we have are based off of usage. If there is just a day that happens that your energy spikes, it'll bump you up to the next tier, and you will have to operate at that rate until you can show that that only happened once, and then the rest of the months you've been able to drop and maintain a lower rate. So just be conscious of that as you're planning your operations. Time of use periods amplify the cost of on-peak demand as well. So if we do see that people are utilizing power more in the evening time during our peak rates, then you are definitely going to see a higher cost in that space. And then load management and usage timing can reduce overall costs. So this just goes back to being aware of when you're utilizing power. Can you find ways to minimize operations or energy usage when it's peak rates, and try to utilize more of your usage during the day when rates are less, or consider alternative options such as renewable, which is solar and battery storage. Those are also ways to help to keep the bills lower, if you're not able to reduce the amount of usage during peak rates. Next slide, please. All right, so demand response are programs that we do offer that will include bill credits. So demand response programs, as I said, also, these are programs that we do offer our customers. It is both for residential and commercial, but the programs that I am going to cover today are predominantly for our commercial or business customers. These are programs that you can participate in to help get credits on your bill to reduce your bill. There's several, so you have the option of participating in any of them. Some of them do have penalties, which are pretty minimal. They do usually have a time commitment for the most part, but the credits that you can receive can be significant and can help keep your bills low. So I'm going to go over 5 of them today. The first one is going to be the critical peak pricing program. And this one you can receive monthly bill credits from June through September, because that's typically, I mean, now it's kind of changed a little bit, but typically, you see your hotter days, June through September. And so that is when the program is the most important, because people are utilizing more AC at that time, although it's changed with the weather. You will receive monthly bill credits during this time period in exchange for paying higher electricity prices during a CPP event. There is a 12-month commitment with the customer-initiated enrollment, and accounts defaulted to CPP, you can unenroll at any time. So although you do have a 12-month commitment, you can unenroll at any point. Real-time pricing is the second one. You can lower energy costs when you reduce energy usage during hours with higher temperature-driven prices and or shift usage to lower priced hours. So again, this is looking at when is the peak pricing happening, and then reducing your usage at that time. Hourly electricity rates provide maximum flexibility. This is also a 12-month commitment program. It is available year-round, so you can sign up at any time, and there are no penalties if you do sign up or need to unenroll on this. The Smart Energy Program, through this program, you can also receive bill credits for allowing SCE to temporarily adjust the temperature set point on your thermostat when events are called. Participants always have the capability to override any temperature adjustments. You can receive a one-time $75 sign-up bonus, and that's just for signing up. And then, and it will be a bill credit. And then you can receive up to $50 in bill credits during summer months from June 1st through September 30th, whenever there is an event that's called, or just for signing up for the program. I can say I actually have that and signed up for that at home. So this program is actually for both residential and commercial customers. And the last two, the first one is the summer discount plan. Again, receiving monthly bill credits during the summer months for allowing SCE to interrupt your air conditioner unit temporarily when events are called. So very similar to the previous program. The bill credit amount is actually based on the size of your AC. And you also will be selecting a cycling plan, which is, when you would be able to turn it off, like what are the hours if an event is called, and for how long. Events may be called year round, but they are limited to 6 hours per day and no more than 180 hours per calendar year. There's also a 12-month program commitment for this program, and you must have an interval data recorder or a smart meter. And usually these programs all require a smart meter in order for Edison to be able to tap and monitor your usage. The last one is a time of use based interval program. This is our TOU BIP program. Also, you can earn bill credits year round, so it's not just limited to the hot months or summer months, for reducing your energy usage during a BIP event to a contracted level within 15 to 30-minute options. So you will, when you sign up, you are going to have to commit to say, okay, I will reduce at 5%, I will reduce at 15%. So you yourself are making a commitment to how much you actually have to drop. And then when there is a BIP event, then you are given a time threshold that you have to drop that power. They also do run a practice one annually, and that is considered, although it's a practice run, you have to participate. And if you don't participate, you can get penalized for that. This is a program that is a minimum 4 to 17-month commitment, depending on when you enroll. And these are for customers that utilize a higher usage of power. So these are your TOU 8 customers, because it's usually using your TOU GS3, because it's over 200 kW. So either of those two options. All right, so with that, I am going to pass it on over to Scott, and I think I saw some comments in the chat, so we'll come back to those after Scott presents. So Scott, if you want to add anything else on DR, feel free to do so, but Scott is going to be covering our rate plan comparison tool. I did give you some options of the 3 general service ones that typically our businesses utilize, and he's going to speak to those and how to use the rate plan comparison tool to make sure that you are utilizing the best rate, or are there other options to be utilized. So with that, Scott, I'll pass it to you.
Hi, thank you, Ruby. Good morning, everybody. My name's Scott Balcom. I'm an account manager. I work with major accounts and our mid-market team, and I'm going to be just quickly giving a brief overview of our rate plan comparison tool. So if the PowerPoint presentation is shared, there's a couple helpful links on here that customers can click on that just give you some additional information about the rate plan comparison tool. There's a help center that kind of goes in there and shows you how you can change your rate plan, but it's pretty easy though, and then we'll kind of go through it and show you what it looks like when you get in there. So this is kind of what it looks like, and the way you get into it, so when you're logged into your SCE My Account and you're on the home page, it's really easy. You'll see your rate option, and right below that, there's going to be a link you can click that's going to say compare rate plans. And when you click on that, this is a screen that'll kind of pop up, and essentially what it's going to do for you is just going to take your last 12 months of usage and compare it on the charge factors between the different rate options that are available, and help to determine really, which rate would be the best rate option for your location. And This is probably the easiest thing customers can do. I know affordability is really at the forefront of everybody's minds these days. So, energy efficiency options can get expensive and be a little complex, but this is something customers can do that's very quick. And it can actually help you, really very quickly identify the least expensive plan based on your typical usage. And essentially, it'll get your estimates based on your past usage. It'll give you a breakdown. So if you can see the screen, it'll have your current rate plan option is the first one, and then it'll show you the other options that are available. And it'll show you kind of an approximation of what you're forecasted to save annually by switching to that rate. The only thing is you do have to be, in order for the tool to work, we need to have 12 months of usage for you on that specific rate that you're on. That way the tool can do an accurate analysis for you, and it'll compare. You'll have the billing seasons for both the summer and the winter, a full 12 months of data. So that way the system can, the tool can really give you an accurate rate analysis. And just a couple, I won't read everything, but just some quick advantages, So essentially what it's going to do, it's going to provide you a personalized comparison between your current plan, other plan options that are available. Really helps to identify the least expensive plan based on your typical usage. And it'll provide you an estimate cost per kilowatt, as well as estimated summer and winter season cost. So that can kind of help you budget. You can kind of have an idea of what your summer bills might look like, what your winter bills might look like, and helps you to kind of anticipate future costs and manage your energy usage accordingly. I'll be on here, and if there's any questions anyone might have, we can definitely get those answered for you.
So Ruby, you asked if there was questions pertaining to your area. So there was one question. What's the thermostat that I need for programs to allow SCE to change my AC setting?
Yeah, I dropped a link into the chat thread that goes directly to our webpage that covers the demand response programs, which will give you more details on each of the programs. But it really just is a smart thermostat, anything that you can connect to Wi-Fi and they can electronically be able to go in and adjust. And that will also shoot data back to Edison too. So really just it could be Honeywell, any smart thermostat that you can connect to Wi-Fi would be one that you could utilize for that.
So,
Scott, did you have anything else to add on any of the demand response programs? Sorry, Olivia.
no worries.
I think you covered it pretty thoroughly, actually. But yeah, if anyone has any questions that do come in, I can hopefully should be able to answer it. And then for this, the only thing I would add for the demand response, so for the summer discount program, if you're on that one, it wouldn't lower your thermostat to a certain temperature. If you're on that program and they call an event, it would actually shut off the condenser, so it wouldn't generate any cold air. It'll still run. It'll just be pushing warm air through, so it doesn't really do much good. But yeah, so it would actually shut off it, so it wouldn't generate any cold air during the time of the event.
So SCE can go in there and kind of change it over to fan mode?
Yeah, it's like if you're on the summer discount program, there's a device that gets installed on the air conditioning unit where it would cycle that off during an event. That's the only one that has something that does that, though. That would be the summer discount program.
Mm-hmm. And that you recommend for folks who have high energy use?
It helps. It definitely helps. Like I know a lot of schools utilize it because they have quite a few HVAC systems. We started calling more events though over the last few years, so it did become a little bit of an issue with the schools just during the heat and not having air conditioning in there. But if you and one thing, if you're on that, what I would, you can always pre-cool the location too. Set it a little bit lower during the day, and then when it gets to that event time, you could, turn the thermostat up, so that way everything's kind of pre-cooled, and then you're pre-cooling the area too during the, out of the on-peak time frame too. That helps to keep things lower.
Okay.
Yeah, and in the program that I participate in, they have had to adjust my thermostat a few times. And I think the max they'll do is like 78 degrees. So it's not like they're pushing you to 90 degrees. I mean, I think the max may be 80, but even then, I don't even think it would hit that. I think it's 78.
Yeah, I think it's 78. I think you're right.
Which really you should all be at 78.
Yeah, I know.
And at the end of the day, I think the biggest takeaway that I really like you to have is it's just being conscious of when you're using power and knowing that during the day when the sun is out, it's cheaper because there's a lot of solar generation. When the sun goes down, power is more expensive because now you're pulling from the grid. And so trying to adjust your usage times to be when rates are lower or finding alternative means to offset your peak rates, which could be solar and battery storage. And then also just checking that the rate, we assume that the rate that we have is the best for us. If you haven't checked it right now, I'll drop the link for the rate tool in the chat right now, but I'd strongly suggest just look at it. Just see if what you have right now, your rate is the best option for you. Because you may be surprised. You may find out that there is something better that can actually help you. So it's just a nice thing to just take a very hard process. You're literally you have to sign into my account. You use the My Tool and it'll show you very quickly what your rate options are.
And that's a good reminder for people who pay their bills on a monthly basis and they're not on auto pay, so they're able to really gauge and move their settings around, correct? Their program.
Yes. And then I think it's just a click of a button that you can actually change your rate. All right, let's jump over to Tina and Robert. And then anything else that you need to add, Scott, will come back to you. So Tina, Robert, feel free to jump in.
Okay, great. Thanks, Ruby, and thanks, Olivia. I just want to say thanks for having us here with you this morning. We're really happy to be able to present some information on the California Energy Design Assistance Program, which is also known as CEDA. My name is Tina Hendricks. I'm based here in Southern California, and I'm also going to be joined by my colleague, Robert Pasos, as well. And we're going to tell you a little bit about our program, some of the changes that we've seen, and again, we're just really happy to be able to present it today. Robert and I, by the way, both work for Willdan. We're the third-party implementer of the statewide new construction program, again, CEDA, California Energy Design Assistance Program. And Olivia, I'll have you, Carlos, go to the next slide, please. So the CEDA program has been around since August 1st of 2021. We're about 4.5 years or a little bit more into the program. We promote electrification. We're going all electric and also reducing carbon emissions, so decarbonization within our program. And that's for any new construction or major renovation that is happening within either PG&E service territory, Southern California Edison service territory, which is our territory here, or San Diego Gas and Electric service territories. SoCal Gas also participates. So the 4 large investor-owned utilities actually sponsor this. It's a utility-sponsored program. And we work on just about every kind of project you can think of, as long as it's early in design. Commercial projects, public projects, multifamily, high-rise projects, those would be 4 stories or more above ground. There is another program with a different implementer called Energy Smart California that does the 3-story or below, single families, ADUs, manufactured structures, pretty much everything more on the residential side. And then, of course, we also work in the CEDA program with industrial projects, agricultural projects. And what the results have shown over the past 4+ years, we've done over 1,200 projects within the program. And about 30% of those projects that were enrolled in the CEDA program opted for the all-electric design. So really fantastic. That's, again, part of our focus of the program is kind of shifting away from the fossil fuels, from the natural gas over to all electric. And then about 780 of the projects also participated in what's called high performance measures. Those are going to be things like heat pump water heaters, low global warming potential refrigerants, high efficiency elevators, plug loads, things like that. And, if you think about this, these buildings are going to be up for a very long time, whether it's a complete new construction or a major renovation. We can help with the measures and selecting better measures early on, like the lighting, the HVAC, the building envelope, walls, windows, things like that. That's really the purpose of the program. So why would you want to participate in CEDA? So first and foremost, it is completely complimentary. Does not cost anything to participate. We will then get paid by the utility to implement the program. It's also how we pay out the incentives and the inducements. And what we offer is a free custom decarbonization analysis. So we can kind of take a look at your project and see where we can maybe reduce the energy consumption, reduce carbon emissions, and then what can we offer you to help with some of those measures in terms of financial incentives. So inducements, incentives to implement some of those measures. And then last but not least, it's really showing a commitment to high performance building practices and design. Again, buildings are going to be up a long time. If we can help to make better choices on those measures, that's really what we want to do. Process couldn't be more simple. 5 simple steps to get any project into our CEDA queue. Basically, we need to know the name of the project, where it's located so we can confirm it's within one of our service territories. It does have to be a minimum of 5,000 square feet. Early in design, typically before construction documents, although we do have something that's new to the program that I'll have Robert speak to coming up here in a moment. And then we need to know if it's new construction or major renovation. If it is major renovation, it does need to be considered more of a full gut renovation. So it can't be just changing out paint and carpet. It really needs to be that when that project is done, it will be like a brand new building. Again, it's our statewide new construction program. Then there's 2 virtual meetings that happen. Very quick, very simple, 30 minutes on the first discovery call, about 60 minutes on the results meeting. But during that meeting, you'll actually find out what we can offer you in terms of the incentives, the inducements, how much energy you can save, how much carbon you can reduce. And then if you select to go with anything that we've helped to energy model, collaborating with your team, we can issue a design team incentive. It's a $4,000 incentive, which Robert will touch on that too as well. Project would be built. Once it is built, we do need to send one of our team members out to make sure that those measures made it into the finished building. And that's because we're a utility-sponsored, ratepayer-funded program. We're required to do that. The 5th and final step, we issue a one-time check to the building owner. Absolutely no strings attached. And in addition to that check, they'll also see the energy savings year after year, the carbon reduction year after year. And so it's really a great way to see what if we looked at all electric instead of a mixed fuel, natural gas and electric. At this point, I'm going to go ahead and kick it over to Robert. He's going to tell you a little bit about our new heat pump initiative, which is really cool. We're super excited about, and you may even have some projects that could fit. So with that, Robert, take it away.
All right. Thanks a lot, Tina. Hey, again, thank you everybody for allowing us to speak about CEDA. The new heat pump initiative, it's the latest and greatest with the CEDA program. We are now allowed to take projects that are already in construction. We're trying to help California meet the aggressive 6 million heat pumps by 2030 goal. One of the great things about the initiative, again, we can take projects in construction, which we've never been allowed to do that before. Typically, you would know within 2 to 3 weeks of what the incentive amount would be for your projects. There's no meetings required as we are incentivizing right off of your plans and specs. Couple of the caveats, again, you still must meet all the regular CEDA eligibility requirements. And for projects in construction, you must be at least 90 days or more out from certificate of occupancy. One of the great things about the program, again, is showing here a $4,000 design team incentive. This is for regular CEDA programs in early design, as Tina had talked about. There's still a design team incentive for the projects that are already in construction or the new heat pump initiative. That incentive is $1,000, but there's no meetings required. Again, we're basically asking for some basic information about the project, and there's, for the plans and specs to be sent over to us. And again, on that, you would know within 2 weeks of what your incentive. Another great thing about the program, I'm sure Tina had mentioned, there's never any cost, risk, or obligation with the program. And we do all the back and forth for you between the project and the utility company. So when a design team incentive needs to be confirmed, we send the paperwork to the utility company. When the incentive check needs to be sent out, again, we will send our verification specialists out to take a look at the project, make sure everything's been installed, and we will do the paperwork for the utility company to make sure you get that. So you don't, that's something that we take off of your plate that you don't have to worry about. And this is a really cool, it's a case study we did. This is one of our first projects that we got in early design. It was finished up last year. It's San Diego's first all-electric life science building called Bioterra. Really nice. We got to go out and actually walk the building. It's, you know, had over 320,000 square feet. It was developed by the Longfellow Real Estate Partners. And it was, again, San Diego's first all-electric life science building. How they went all-electric, it's an all-electric HVAC system, as you can see here up on top of the roof. It's heat recovery chillers. It's designed for efficiency and tenant comfort. All-electric heat pump water heating. It really was a great site to go out and see. And again, this was one of our first start to finish projects that we enrolled in the CEDA program. Some of the things they came out of with the estimated incentives and savings, there was over $110,000 in an incentive check that was sent to the project owner at completion of construction and verification. It saved over 118,000 kilograms of CO2, which basically comes out to about equivalent to 300,000 plus miles of driving is what is saved. And basically that is CEDA. If you have a project to discuss, we'd love to discuss any projects with you. Again, I'm the outreach specialist here in Los Angeles County and surrounding areas. If for some reason you can't get a hold of me, which is pretty simple, Tina is also local out here. If anybody ever needs a lunch and learn, I'm always willing to get out to your area, talk to you guys about the program more in depth. Really is a great program. Like I said, we've enrolled over 1,200 projects into the system in 4.5 years. And so it's really starting to see the benefits of it now. And again, if you guys get a chance, please take a look at the CEDA website. It has some great stuff on there. It has, you'd probably recognize some of our sustainability stars, which, you know, either companies, individuals, developers that have enrolled 3 or more projects into the system. It'll show you some more case studies on there. It'll show you, you know, the different high efficiency measures that the utility companies are looking for. It really is a great design. It's always getting better. Again, we appreciate your time for allowing us to speak about the CEDA program. We'd love to hear from you. Our contact information is up there. Please feel free to call me at any time, email me, and we'd love to discuss any project with you. And basically, that's CEDA in a nutshell. Is there any
Quick question. So are these can you combine the incentives?
combined with?
So you have a
Pumping.
design of 4,000 and then you have another one for $1,000.
No, those are 2 different incentives. Those
Okay.
are design team incentives. The $4,000 design team incentive is for projects that are enrolled in early design, our regular, what we consider our regular full CEDA program.
Mm-hmm.
You'll have 2 meetings with that one.
Mm-hmm.
The $1,000 incentive is for our new heat pump initiative, and there is no meetings with that. Again, we are incentivizing just right off of your plans and specs, and with that program, you will know within 2 weeks what the incentives for your project would be. And the incentive for the project on either program is different from the design team incentive.
Got it.
Which is great.
And
I mean,
it
I
is.
will say when I first joined Edison and was involved with some of the programs, or actually even before I joined Edison and I was on the sustainability consultant side, I asked several times, I'm like, why can't we as consultants get money? We're helping. And that actually helps the customers too, because they can't upfront the money to bring in an A&E team. So this kind of helps to cover the cost to bring in a designer or an engineer to be able to have those conversations. So I love that we are, giving money towards those design teams to be able to help to initiate those discussions with our customers. And so these are really great programs. One of the questions I think we did ask in the registration is how many of the members rent or lease their office space or warehouse space, and how many of them own, and how are those conversations being had if you are a leasee with your landlord and making these renovations and having those conversations. And I think that's really important as well, in this space too. So one thing I wanted to say, Robert threw out the lunch and learns. I think lunch and learns are a great way and avenue to be able to have those conversations with those that are, potentially in a building, or if you have multiple locations, so you guys can dive a little bit deeper and have those one-on-one conversations with Robert and team on what does the program look like. Or if you're a contractor and you have some customers that you want to pitch this to, another great opportunity, bring in your clients and have those meetings with Robert and Artina in that space.
I just wanted to add too that when Robert joined our team, he comes to us after 30 years with LA Unified School District. So very deep roots in the LA community and always happy to help. He's just been a great addition to our team. And the time has really flown since he's joined us. It seems like he's always been with us since the start. But yeah, he's a great resource. If you have a project or need more information, some literature to share, let us know. Our website too, as he mentioned, has some great information, book meetings there. You can actually book lunch and learns there. But yeah, we're always happy to reach out and do lunch and learns, present the program, have a virtual call. Want to go over it in more detail on a specific project, let us know. We're happy to help anytime.
Mr. Chairman, did you have any questions? Because I know you know a few folks who are doing construction on housing.
Yeah, well, in the chat I put in there if they covered the territory of IID, and I guess they don't. It's just PG&E, SCE, so-called gas, San Diego Gas and Electric. So that put that 10plex to rest. So we're doing 60 units in that area in the Lithium Valley as well. And then my next question was, we, as contractors, we're working for like the city of Norwalk, where we have they have a upgrade program, and we are installing mini splits. And I just wasn't sure, would the CEDA program, which was answered, they have to use the S-Smart California for homeowners, but who receives those rebates, the contractors or the homeowners? And the reason I'm asking is because the city pays for the program. The homeowner doesn't pay for it. It's a cost program.
And I don't know with Energy Smart, I imagine they probably work similar to the way CEDA does. There are sister program, different implementer, different program. But with CEDA, for example, you can assign, the building owner can assign the check to whomever they want, the contractor, whoever, right? Let's say it's a tenant improvement build out, where the tenant is paying for all the equipment and everything, but the building owner is different. They would assign that check to the building, the person that's going to be leasing the space because they're paying for all the improvements. So you can do that on CEDA. I don't know for certain that you could do that on Energy Smart, but I would venture to say you probably can, but you'd want to check in with them on their program. I don't know all the ins and outs on theirs, but I can get you a name of a contact there that could probably get that answer for you right away. And then I just put in the chat too, IID, I think they do have their own new construction program as well. Again, don't know the details. They have had in the past, I haven't checked recently to make sure that they've renewed for 2026, but might look into that as well.
Yeah, and also too, we're building custom homes in Palm Springs, and we're just contacting Southern California Edison to give them our energy calcs. So we're probably, did you say we have to be 90 days away from the installation of the mechanical system, or is there?
If you're doing heat pumps on a commercial project, so a single family residence is not going to be qualified for CEDA, unfortunately. I'm putting another program in the chat too for you. It's called Cal EHP, Cal Electric Homes Program. So if you're doing all electric, there may be some incentives and technical assistance through that program as well. And the company that runs the implementer for both of those is called TRC Companies. They actually run both of those, and you can layer them because they're different buckets of money. So the California Energy Smart California Homes is a utility program, and the Cal EHP is a state of California program. So different bucket of money, you can generally layer those. So you might look into those for your single family residential projects.
Yeah, and Daryl, I can connect you with TRC. I have my Tina at TRC that I can connect you with.
And Ruby Rose knows all about my projects.
Excellent.
You know,
Excellent.
I call her just because we just have a lot of stuff that are happening. So we're actually doing a lot of work up at Bakersfield, getting ready. We're in design phase as well. And it's a childcare center. So
Oh,
That
perfect.
we'll be, but I have another question for you. So if we were talking about the TOU program that you have there, is there a difference in cost if you have a nonprofit? Is it a different rate per kilowatt versus a standard business? So let's just say
No.
I'm an LLC, right? I'm an
No,
LLC,
no.
so it's not a different rate, or if I'm a corporation versus just a regular business owner, it's all the same rate.
Yes. The only time in the for commercial customers, I'm not aware of any programs that are income based, I'll say. That's probably like the biggest difference that apply to commercial customers. And correct me if I'm wrong, Scott. The only programs that we do offer that are income based are the care program, and that's very specific to residential customers. So even like if you have care on your home bill and you're an owner of a business, you cannot carry over the care program to be on your commercial or your business account. Scott, can you
Yes, that's
correct me if
correct.
I'm
Program would be primary for residential. The only instance a commercial account could potentially on the care program would be if it was like a 501c3 and it was like, they ran like a business, like a substance abuse recovery type home, some type of thing that's slightly residential related, but it would have to be a 501c3, and some type of assisted living facilities might be able to qualify for it. So something along those lines. But traditional commercial businesses, no, there's unfortunately not an income qualified program.
Yeah,
and
because
that's typically it's based on usage.
we're going to be building out a cafeteria for a recovery sober living, I think they call them, in Montclair. So this would be good information to see how he could possibly look into it. I mean, everybody's talking about cost of utilities and amongst other stuff of food and gas, but this is good information. Thank you.
I also wanted to share, Daryl, just because I know you're in the space also of multifamily. So CEDA is, although it doesn't cover single family homes, it does cover multifamily. Correct, Tina and Robert?
Yes.
So if you do have anything in that space, or if anybody on this call works in the space of multifamily, you can apply CEDA to those projects.
And one thing to add to that, with the multifamily, if any of the projects are 100% affordable housing, there's a 40% kicker on the incentives for that.
That's a fine line when you call it affordable. I mean, the developers don't stay away from that, because the 40% locks you in to a rate where it's almost impossible to pencil out a project. So, but the reason I'm asking about the residential is we're involved in a program called Viva Altadena, and I'm working with another group, LA Fire Justice, and I would like to add these incentives for all electric, because they're going to be brand new houses that were, obviously burnt down. So we're actively working and having conversations on how we're going to help bring bridge funding after the insurance companies have paid their, what they feel is what the policy was. So there's going to be a lot of residential, and we're trying to figure out rebates and incentives to help these people rebuild their lives in Altadena. So our chamber is very active in that program as well. And we are in our space. We are big in with myself and a group of us that are in affordable housing space. But again, they're fourplexes, fiveplexes, but we're doing a lot of work up in the Imperial Valley. And I'll look into the IED. I have a good friend of mine that was a former chair there. And let me see what kind of program IED has.
Yeah, the Cali HP program that Tina shared is a program that is managed by the state. So there are programs that funds are coming from the IOUs, and then there's programs that money is coming from the state. And so that is a state-run program. So you don't have to be in any of the IOU territories in order to apply for that one. But I'll
Okay.
connect you with
Appreciate
TRC so you can see what would be applicable over there.
Thank you, Ruby Rose. Appreciate you.
Of course. Anything else? Any other questions? Rates, programs? I actually want to challenge everyone. Please go look at the rate tool right now and see if you are on the best rates. Just check. And it could be for both your home and for your business. So, maybe there's opportunity for savings in just clicking a button.
What would be the sweet spot if your bill was over $100 or $200? I mean, what would be the trigger dollar amount? I mean, I've retrofitted my whole house, so I've reduced my rates tremendously. And I've changed out all my HVAC systems to a 21 SEER. So I'm trying to be as energy efficient as possible. But my bills are still a little bit on the high side. So what would be if for whoever's listening, what would be the one where you says, okay, maybe I want to get involved in these TOU programs? Would it be $100, 150?
Well, to clarify, the TOU rate is automatic. Like all of our customers have been transitioned to the TOU rates. So you are on that regardless. There may be some that are grandfathered into the tier rates, but I mean, it's very, very few, and they have some kind of special circumstance. Daryl was just asking if there was like a sweet spot in switching over from one rate to another. And I'm wondering, I know it's already, I think we're at time at 11, but I'm wondering, can we bring up the rate tool? Can I share from my end if I bring up the rate tool and we look up the chamber's bill and just take a quick look, like what does that look like for you guys so you can see how easy it is? 531 Wellsford.
No, 8531.
Oh, 85 is what I was.
31.
Okay. Okay, I found it.
Have occupancy sensors. If you stand still for more than a minute, light turns off. Done.
Great. I love that. That's news. That's
Just so
music to
everybody
my
knows what it's
ears.
called, I'm very stingy.
It's not being stingy, it's being energy smart.
8531 Wellsford.
Okay, so here we go. This is looking at your account.
Okay.
So looking at this is telling you that what you're on right now is the best plan.
Right. It might be
Because if
energy
you
efficient.
changed, yeah. So you're under TOU GS1. If you were to change, it's going to compare you to looking at the two options that I mentioned, E and D.
Okay.
If you were to move over to those, then you would actually have an increase.
Okay, so I'm on the best plan.
So you're on the best plan right now.
Are we being energy savers here at the chamber? We are. Looks like we are, huh? Yeah.
Your bill will tell you. It'll tell you if you've been a good customer or not.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's really easy. You saw me put in the account information, verify with either the phone number or the street address, and then it pulls it up right away. And it'll
That's a
tell
heck
you.
of a heck of a savings. $906 from option 1 to option 2.
Oh yeah.
That's pretty
No,
amazing.
it's not a savings. You would add $900.
No, but I mean, because I'm on option 1,
Yeah.
I'm saving the $900 a year.
Oh, yes.
That's what I'm saying. So I guess the incentive is that, yes, look into how you could save utility. That's a good savings to me.
It's a good plan.
Yeah, great
Yeah.
plan.
And it'll tell you where you're at, if it's a good one or not.
Right. E.
And it'll break it down for you between summer and winter. And then it breaks it down per month as well.
Okay.
What your average usage is.
On that note, I'd like to thank all of our speakers for their time this morning.
Just really quickly, I think it was Marco who asked me, shoot me an email, Marco. I did confirm that there is a direct install program for small to medium businesses called Simplified Savings for customers that are in disadvantaged or underserved communities. So I can send you that information.
Thank you everyone for joining us, and we'll see each other soon.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks,
Everyone, stay safe.
Have a good rest of the day.